Hey there! In the previous video, we've talked about what a draft resolution is and how it is written by all delegates prior to the conference and compiled as a group during the conference. Let's quickly recap those ideas. A draft resolution is essentially a compilation of several solutions proposed for the agenda. It's given a new form during an unmoderated caucus session where delegates form blocks, merge their clauses, designate a main submitter and co-submitters for the resolution, and finally submit it to the chair. What happens now? In some conferences, a certain group of people, composed of the secretariat members and faculty MUN advisors, called the approval panel, decide which resolutions are appropriate for the conference to discuss and help main submitters fine-tune those that aren't. In other conferences such as CS-MUN, the chairs directly pick resolutions that the committee will debate upon. That is all fine, but how does resolution debate actually occur? This will be the topic of this and the next two videos. Resolution debate in MUN is quite structured, detailed, exhaustive, and formal process. It begins when the chair sets a reading time for the entire committee to go through the resolution. Delegates are expected to thoroughly go through the operative clauses at this time and frame POIs for the main submitter. Then, the main submitter is bid to the podium for them to read out the operative clauses. Following this is what we call the main submitter's first speech. This is the main submitter's first and biggest chance to convince the committee of their resolution's credibility and promise. They should use this speech effectively to discuss the key features of their resolution, welcome any amendments, thank all the contributors, and most significantly, urge all delegates to vote in favor. Take a look at the following video clip to comprehend how the main submitter's first speech goes.
Delegate, you now have 90 seconds to proceed with the main submitter's first speech. Please proceed when you're ready.
Esteemed chairs and high principal delegates, the delegate of Brazil is delighted to present a solution on approaching the issues of increased pollution in oceanic bodies and would like to thank delegates of Australia and France for their significant contributions as the co-submitters. The delegate firmly believes that aggressive regulation of the waste management industry is highly perilous to the environment and has drafted this resolution in the belief that the strong disposal solutions and the healthy usage of possibly polluting substances is vital to solve this problem. The main submitter actively welcomes any and all amendments to make the resolution more standard. Thank you.
Thank you, Delegate. Is the delegate open to any points of information? Any and all. Seeing that the delegate has opened themselves to any and all points of information, if there are such points to be made, please raise the placard now. The delegate of Australia.
If you know that you're going to be a main submitter, it is suggested that you come prepared with your first speech in advance. Following this, the main submitter yields, typically to POIs and then to one of the co-submitters, although not mandatory. This first POI session to the main submitter is one of the largest and most impugned one, for which the main submitter is expected to come wholly prepared to defend their clauses, be it by bearing in mind relevant statistics or just by being mindful and practical at the podium. Once the floor reaches the chair, the head table opens the floor to any speeches for or against the resolution as a whole. During this time, any delegate from the committee, be it those in the same block as the main submitter, those from another block, or even those from a different topic altogether, are allowed to voice out their opinions on the resolution. Delegates use these speeches to convey whether they are for or against the resolution, thank or criticize the main or co-submitters, highlight particular clauses, and urge their fellow delegates to vote for or against the resolution. It is expected that the co-submitters use this chance to vouch for the resolution. Each of these speeches may be followed by POIs according to how the delegates yield their flow. Remember that the different cases for yielding we discussed in a previous video apply here primarily. These delegate speeches continue for some time, both for and against, as chairs call out for speakers speech after speech. Let's now take a look at two such speeches, one for and one against.
The floor is now open to speeches for or against this resolution as a whole. If there are any such speeches to be made, please raise the placards now. The delegate of Australia, you have been recognized. You have 1 minute. Proceed when you're ready.
Esteemed chairs and high principal delegates, the delegate of Australia has decided to present this resolution on approaching the issues of increased pollution along with Brazil. Coral reefs are not only a prime source of natural elegance and tourism, but are also significant contributors to sustaining biodiversity and the source of food and economic security for millions of people. The delegate is deeply alarmed that around 14% of all coral reefs were lost in the past decade, according to the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. The solid partnership between policymakers and the scientific community is imperative.
Delegate, please come to your closing remarks.
Russia strongly urges the committee to vote in favor of this resolution to put an end to the rampant issue of coral reef obliteration.
Thank you, Delegate.
The delegate uses time back to
The House is now once again open to speeches for or against this resolution as a whole. If there are any on the floor, please raise your placards now. The delegate of Pakistan, you have been recognized. Delegate, you have 1 minute. You may proceed when you're ready.
Honorable Chair and fellow delegates, the delegate of Pakistan urges the committee to vote against this resolution. The solutions proposed in this resolution are redundant and have been implemented in the past several times. Most clauses in this resolution are ambiguous at the same time. This resolution is past the point where amendments can fix the numerous flaws it possesses. Hence, the delegate urges the House to vote against this resolution.
Thank you, Delegate. Does the delegate open themselves to any points of information?
One.
Seeing that the delegate has opened themselves to 1 point of information, if there are any such points to be made, please raise your placards now.
I hope you noticed how each of these speeches were written and delivered. Make sure your speeches are powerful, both through thoughts and delivery. Refrain from looking into your script too much and be sure to maintain eye contact. Most of these speeches will be spontaneous. Look bold, sound imperative, and present your ideas through clear diction and words. With that, we'll wrap up this video and pick up a discussion in the next one. See you there.